Are you voguing? Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I have a book haul for you. This is a very special one. This is not going to be an in and out book haul. I don't have anything ready for that. But I did go to 2 different library sales this month, and I wanted to show you what I got without worrying about the in and out thing, because supporting my local libraries is very, very important to me. I volunteer at one of them, and I'm in school to be a librarian right now. I'm getting my master's degree in library sciences. So supporting my local library is very important, and it's something that I just allow myself to do without the pressure of getting rid of anything in return. So I did want to go ahead and just show you what I got, and then I will also show you some ARCs that I have received from publishers. I have received 4 ARCs recently, and they were unsolicited. So I did not know I was getting them, or they were like, they contacted me and, you know, I said yes on one of them, but all the other 3 were unsolicited, and I'm really excited about it. So I wanted to go ahead and show you that too, and not worry about the getting rid of things too, because these are books I'm going to have to read soon, and I don't want to wait to haul them after I've read them. So we're just going to throw those in here too. Okay, so I will start with some books that I got at the library that I volunteer at, which is down the street from my house, and I ended up getting 5 books there. And it's funny because I was actually working the book sale, because the book sale is put on by the Friends of the Library, which is the organization I'm the president of. So I was actually there for most of the sale. So I just kept walking around and straightening things and adding to my pile. So it's fine. Okay, the first one is a book by an author that I really want to get into. This is my 2nd book that I own of hers now. I bought one on Book Outlet recently as well, and that is Karin Slaughter, and I found this book called Faithless. I have no idea what this is about, and it's fine. I just went ahead and picked it up because it was $1. It's a really nice hardback, and this is actually really cool because the cover of this, when you take the dust jacket off, it's transparent, like see-through, and then you have this on the inside. So I thought that was really cool, and I am again excited to get this cover back on and to give Karin Slaughter a try. So now I have 2 books, and I solemnly swear I will not buy any more until I read one of them. Okay, this next one is by a pretty prolific author, and it's, again, one I haven't read, but that is Sandra Brown, and this is called Low Pressure, and I believe she writes majority of like mystery and thriller books, and I thought I would give her a try. I haven't read anything by her, but she seems to have a pretty long list of books that she's written. Okay, this next one is a book I've not heard of, but the cover really caught me, and that is Absolution by Patrick Flannery. And this is a book that I believe follows a storyline where there is a person who has a very interesting life story, and it is being recited to someone who is supposed to be documenting that life story for them. So you're kind of going through this together. That's what I'm getting from the synopsis, so I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But this cover really, really caught me, and I went ahead and grabbed it. Okay, this next one was almost on my birthday project TBR list. I had someone who was recommending a couple of different books, and I said, okay, I'm interested in both of these. What do you think? And she gave me a different book, but this one was on her list as well. And that is I Am Charlotte Simmons by Tom Wolfe. This is, again, the 2nd book by Tom Wolfe that I have, and I have not read either one yet, but I knew we had a copy of this. We actually had 2 copies of this one, so I knew I could get it there. And when she said that, I was like, okay, maybe next time we have a book sale, I will go ahead and pick up one of those copies, and I did. So she said it's very good, and I guess we'll see. Okay, this next one is a nonfiction. I don't pick up nonfiction super, super often. It depends on the topic of it, but this one really caught my eye, and that is The Witness Wore Red, and this is by Rebecca Musser. Rebecca Musser is one of the women who brought down the polygamist compound that, is it Warren Jeffs? Yes, Warren Jeffs was the leader of, and that was in, I believe it was in Utah, quite a few years ago, and it was raided by the police, and you know, Warren Jeffs. So this one really caught my eye, and especially because I'm getting really interested in different religious groups and their beliefs and why they believe these things. For example, I am binge watching the Leah Remini series about Scientology right now, and I am so fascinated with it. I'm almost done with season 1 and it is so interesting to me. And so this is going to be kind of along those same lines where you're, you know, learning about these people and their beliefs and why they believe these things and things that actually happen from someone who was actually a part of it. And then she ended up escaping and she helped with the trial that brought him down. And I'm really, really super interested in this. Okay, so those were the 5 books I got at the library sale that's closest to me. Now, this morning, actually, I went and got these this morning, is another library that is in the town that is next to ours. And it's probably about, you know, a 20, 30 minute drive down the road. And I went ahead and made the trip out there this morning to go see what they had, because every time I go to one of their library sales, I always find stuff. And I did today. I found 8 books. 8 of them. I found 5 hardbacks and 3 paperbacks, and I paid a total of $3.25 for all of these books. I could not believe it. The one that is held at our library is a little bit more expensive. It's $1 for everything, regardless of paperback or hardback, but they are really, really good condition books. And then the one over there is 25 cents for paperbacks and 50 cents for hardbacks, regardless of condition. They have all sorts of conditions in there. So maybe that's why it's a little bit different. But I went ahead and grabbed 8 of them. So the first one I got is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Now, I used to own this book. I remember having this book when we were in California, and I think I bought it when Oprah was talking about it. However, I never read it, and then I ended up getting rid of it. But I don't know, something about it intrigues me, but it's also a little scary to me. I feel like it's going to go over my head. I may not fully grasp it. It is a literary fiction, but it is so critically acclaimed and so beloved by so many people and just called one of the most important works ever. So maybe that's why it's intimidating a little bit to me. So I think this would be a good book that would challenge me. So I went ahead and picked up another copy, but for 25 cents, you know, all good. Okay, this next one I was really excited to see, and that is Beauty Queens by Lippa Bray. This is a book that's been on my radar because I hear it's kind of a all-female twist on Lord of the Flies, a little bit of a similar concept, but these are all beauty pageant contestants who get stranded on an island and they're forced to survive. And I've heard good things about it, so I'm interested. I think it'll be a fun read. Okay, this next one is actually pretty funny because as I was driving over to the library, I was listening to a podcast and I was listening to What Should I Read Next? And it was the first episode I'd ever listened to. And it was an episode about what are the most recommendations that, like, what are the books that you recommend the most? And so they were kind of talking about that and the ones that are most often recommended by you personally. So kind of your favorite books. And this one was on one of the girls' lists. It's also a book that I have been recommended personally. And I didn't realize that this was kind of a historical fiction. And that's something I'm getting into. So I saw it there. They had 4 copies of it and I went ahead and picked one up. Okay, that is a really hard title. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. And Mary Ann Schaefer, they were talking about this on the podcast. She actually got really sick while she was writing this book, and so her daughter is Annie Barrows, and her daughter kind of helped her finish it. She has since passed away. Mary Ann has, but yeah, so I've heard a lot about this book. I've heard a lot of people really, really like it. And again, I didn't realize it was a historical fiction. I might have picked it up earlier, but I have had more than one person on my channel actually recommend this to me. So I now have a copy of it. Okay, this next one, you guys, I was so excited when I found it. I've never seen this book in a hardback before, but I found it there and I grabbed it right up because I have read it, but it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite authors, and it's one of my favorite books by her as well. And so I went ahead and grabbed it. I've actually talked about this recently, and that's 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. I loved this book when I first read it. I have read quite a few of her books, and this has been my favorite. So it's one that if anyone ever asks me about her, I say this was my favorite. You know, obviously I haven't read all of them yet, but I loved this one. This is one that I would like to reread one day. It does follow a school shooting, so I'm not quite ready to jump into that type of subject yet, but maybe, you know, in another year or two, I'll probably be okay to go ahead and reread this. But I've never seen this in hardback. It's hardback. I've literally never seen it. I always see it in paperback, and usually if I can find a copy, it's pretty beat up. So I just haven't been able to pick up a physical copy of this one. I did read this on my Kindle when I first read it, and now I have a pristine hardback copy of it and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys, this next one I flipped out. This was the first book that I saw. It was on like the third shelf that I was scanning and I went, what? I've heard so much about this book. I've heard that it's so good and it's a recent release. It's come out, I guess, probably, I think it came out last year. But that's Homegoing by, Yagasai. Yagasai, I think, is the author of this one. And I have just literally heard nothing but amazing things about this book, like nothing. And so I now own it and it is perfect. It is literally perfect. I couldn't believe it. I literally stood there and went, mine? Oh my gosh. Okay, this next one is actually a book that I had checked out from the library earlier this year and I wasn't able to get to it when I checked it out. I just didn't have the time. And that is The Marriage Plot. This is by Jeffrey Eugenides and he actually wrote the book Middlesex, which was there too. I didn't pick that one up because it was a little bit beat up. But this one, I don't really know what it's about, but I've heard very good things about Jeffrey Eugenides' writing and his books and his topics and everything, so I'm interested to give it a try. And like I said, I did check it out from the library at one time, so I know I'm interested in it, and I picked it up for 50 cents. Okay, the next one is by an author that, again, I haven't read from, but I do own now 2 books. This is the second book I own from him, and that is Fredrik Backman, and I picked up Britt Marie Was Here. And I have heard good things about this one. I have heard very, very good things about him as an author, so I'm very interested. I have this one and I have A Man Called Ove. So I'm very, very interested in getting into his work. And again, I have 2 titles now, so I solemnly swear not to buy another one until I read one. Okay, so this last one is a book that I have read. It's a book I love. It is the first book in a series, and it's my favorite in that series. It's a book I'm still reading. However, here's the thing. I have all of these books in the series in hardcover. I pre-ordered them most of the time, and they're all, the hardcover, so they're all the same size. They look great, except for the first book. For some reason, the first book that I had when I originally bought it is a short hardback. And I don't know why. And I've always seen it in a short hardback. But today I found it in a tall hardback and it's not a large print. It's a normal hardback. I was like, wait, what? Because mine is always, whenever I see it in a hardback, it's always the short one. So I don't know how that happened. It was very, very strange. But I picked up Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. So this is the first book in the Robert Langdon series. It's also my favorite in the series. I love all the books in it, but this one was definitely, I remember just being my favorite. And I have this copy, which is a hardback, but look, it's shorter. Isn't that strange? Like, it's smaller than this one that I found today. I'm like, I literally don't understand why that is. And it's always bothered me being on the shelf, having a shorter book than all the rest of the series. So for 50 cents, I went ahead and grabbed this. I will be taking this one to Goodwill or maybe give it to someone in my book club or something. But I'm going to unhaul this one and I'm going to put this one on the shelf. So this is not going to be an in and out thing. This is just, I'm officially unhauling this right now. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm not going to count it as an in and out because I'm just replacing a different copy. But so great, because now this can go on my shelf and everything will match and it will be the same height. I'm weird about that. So yeah, but 50 cents and I couldn't believe it. Okay guys, next I want to show you the 4 ARCs that I have received from publishers. I'm really, really excited about them. The first one I received from St. Martin's Press and I ended up getting The Wife Between Us. And this is written by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekanen, and this goes on sale on January 9th of 2018. So I do plan to be reading this very, very soon. It's sitting on my nightstand. I'm probably going to start this after Tome Topple is done. And this, I believe, is a thriller, and it's kind of like a domestic thriller type of thing. When I got the press for this book along with the ARC, it talked about how Steven Spielberg's production company has already purchased the rights for this, and I believe they're going to be turning it into, I don't know if it's going to be a TV show or a miniseries or a movie. I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to be produced by Steven Spielberg. So that is really, really cool. This next one comes out in February of 2018, and this is the one that I was contacted by. I got contacted by Clean Team Publishing, and they have sent me books in the past, and I got an email saying, we have a few arcs that are available. If you're interested in any of these, please let us know. And I said, I would like to read that one, please. This is called The Vikings Chosen. And this is by Quinn Loftus. This is the first book in a series, and it is kind of tagged as a Viking romance. And I'm there. I would like to read a book about Vikings. I haven't really read one yet, but I love the show Vikings. Oh my gosh, I love that show. I think it's on History Channel. Oh my gosh, that show is so good. I'm obsessed with it. So I am really excited to dive into this and see what this is about. This next one was sent to me by Flatiron Books, and I'm so excited about this one. This is called Sometimes I Lie, and this is by Alice Feeney. This one is going to be published in March of 2018, and I'm really excited about this one as well. I have no clue what it's about. I think it's a little bit of a mystery, and you're trying to kind of figure out who's doing what. But yeah, so I don't know a ton about it. I don't really want to know a ton about it. I want to go into this blind and see what it's all about. And this last one I got from Berkeley Books, and this is from an author whose book I was able to read last year, and I did a review on my channel for it. And I actually ended up getting contacted by the author personally on my video, and she thanked me for reading the book and talking about it and sharing it, and I loved it. And she actually, her and I ended up emailing back and forth, and she sent me a signed copy of her first book. And then she ended one of her emails with, you know, when my next book comes out, I'll make sure you get an early copy. And I was like, oh, great, that's so awesome. And I didn't know when her next book was coming out. I didn't know anything about it. I was just like, oh, great, you know, and sometimes you just kind of cross your fingers and hope that, you know, it will happen. It doesn't always, and that's fine. You know, people are busy, but I got a copy and I was so excited. I didn't know it was coming out. And yeah, so Abby Waxman, and this is Other People's Houses. This comes out on April 3rd of 2018, and I got a super early copy. I'm really excited to read this. Abby has been absolutely just the sweetest thing, and our email correspondence was so great, and I really appreciated it. And, you know, she didn't have to reach out to me. She didn't have to. I loved her book anyway. I would have read it and reviewed it regardless. But she did take the time to do that. And I think it's so great when authors take the time to connect to people who are sharing their works. And, you know, it helps us feel good as well. And it just helps us to know that we are, you know, making someone else's day. And just, this made my day beyond. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm really excited to read this. And I can't wait to share it with you guys when I do. Okay guys, that's going to be it for me today. So those are the library books that I picked up at the sales this month and a couple of arcs that I received. I just wanted to share them with you before I started reading them because I do want to start reading them soon. My goal in 2018 is to read my arcs way ahead of time so I cannot end up getting behind and kind of in a situation I'm in right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please let me know down below if you guys picked up any books this month. Have you guys gone to any library sales? Do you frequently go to library sales? I go every single time there is one because you just never know what kind of treasures you're going to find. And I found some really good ones this month. I'm really happy with everything that I was able to pick up. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.